just say a few things. If you ask me in this hierarchy, number of things are there, no doubt. Like some of you talked about that there should be, I will not put number, analytical skills, ability to understand, discipline was someone said. Discipline is something which I will put here. Any other thing you would like to add? Hmm? Hmm? Dimensions. Okay, rather than dimensions, I would say that ability to understand various dimensions. Okay, what else? और क्या? You're saying something? Okay, that will be covered under analytical skills, I think, because whenever you take up something, you analyze. That is part and parcel of the analytical skill. I'm talking about the skill set, the aptitude which we think is required. I would also add one more here, ability to memorize. अब मुझे अगर सपोज इसको सीक्वेंस में लगाना है, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट फर्स्ट एंड द अदर्स लेटर. सो फर्स्ट कौन सा होना चाहिए? Yes, very correct. The first is the discipline. Discipline. I was very talented, but I was not disciplined. And that is why I didn't get selected. It is as simple as that. I saw less talented people than me got selected because they had one thing, that was discipline. So if you ask me what is the most important thing, it is essentially the discipline. And वैसा बिल्कुल नहीं होना चाहिए था, which I used to be like as a student used to be, कि जब जोश आ गया तो वो 2 3 4 दिन जितने भी लग जाएं, एक बुक खत्म, सोए भी नहीं, जो भी. फिर उसके बाद कब पढ़ाई होगी, again we don't know. So that should not be the case. You should study every day with a discipline. There should be a routine of study, how you will be studying. Okay, so that is the very very important, most important facet. What else? Next, what do you think? I would say this is, according to me, second in the list, ability to memorize. Many of us, even I used to say this, कि ये रट्टाफिकेशन मेरे से नहीं होता है. समझ लेते हैं and वही, that is most important thing. But remember, UPSC exam is all about memorization. Analysis और ये सब फालतू की चीजें हैं, वो बाद में आती हैं. तो मुझे बताओ, tell me, in your exam which is being conducted, in JS paper you have to write 20 questions, 3 घंटे में. In optional paper you have to write 19 questions. एक क्वेश्चन में तुम्हें मात्र एक हार्डली जो मैक्सिमम मिल रहा है वो 15 मार्क्स. इन सम ऑफ देम विच आर 10 मार्कर्स यू आर गेटिंग 5 to 6 मिनट्स. उसमें क्या घंटा एनालिसिस करोगे? बताओ, व्हाट एनालिसिस यू विल डू इन दैट? कैन यू एक्चुअली डू सम एनालिसिस इन दैट? And you look into the nature of questions which UPSC is asking, many of them you will just feel like कि पहली बार देख रहा हूं. What type of analysis you will be able to do? It is all about memory. How much you are able to recall. No doubt, some questions you can do that. But to do that analysis in some of the questions, tell me, do we require, जब हम पेपर देते हैं, तो does it happens कि हमें एक भी क्वेश्चन तैयार ना हो? नॉर्मली क्या होता है? There is a ratio. नॉर्मली देर आर सम क्वेश्चंस अराउंड 30-40% जो अच्छे से तैयार होंगे, 30-40% क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो वेगली हमें उनके बारे में पता होता है बट वी आर नॉट वेल प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर देम, एंड देर विल बी 20% क्वेश्चन जिनके बारे में कुछ भी पता नहीं, कोई आइडिया नहीं है. यही होता है ना एग्जामिनेशन में. नाउ इफ आई हैव मेमोराइज्ड वेल, will I be able to save some time in that first category of 30-40% questions? Obviously, yes. If I have memorized well, then will I be able to make answers, good answers for that next 40-50%, whatever questions are there? Obviously, yes. So that is the key. Or later I understood as a teacher, this became more clear to me. एज अ स्टूडेंट आई यूज टू फील कि मेरी एनालिटिकल पावर्स बहुत स्ट्रांग है, मुझे समझ में सब कुछ आ जाता है, ठीक है. बट मेरी रट्टाफिकेशन की जो पावर्स हैं दे आर वीक. आई ऑलवेज हैड दिस इंप्रेशन अबाउट मी. व्हेन आई एक्चुअली स्टार्टेड टीचिंग, you can understand that I am now teaching that same boring stuff at least 3-4 times in a year. Same thing 3-4 times in a year. Can you understand that अब मेरे को सब कुछ रट गया है. I don't need to look into content to teach something. सो भी रहा तो मुझसे पूछोगे सर वो एरियल डिफरेंशिएशन क्या है, तो मैं नींद में भी हो सकता है तो मैं बता दूं कि व्हाट इज दैट एरियल डिफरेंशिएशन और साइकिल ऑफ इरोजन या वॉट एवर द कंटेंट इज. दिस इज हाउ मच आई हैव मक्ड अप. What I understood from that was, once my memorization became strong, my understanding of the content became even stronger, much stronger. And many things which I was earlier understanding was my wrong understandings. Once I had memorized them well, my analysis became very strong. My interlinking, I am a teacher, if you know, I am very famous for interlinking things. Geography optional mein, I am very famous for interlinking paper 1 with paper 2. Puri tarah se I just link and do it very well for the students. But how I was able to reach that stage, as a student इतने अच्छे से नहीं कर पाता था. But when I became essentially a teacher, it grew to very good proportions. And now I understand that what was the key? It was the memorization. Before, the level of memorization I had, that was the proportionate level of understanding I had. As my memorization level increased, my understanding also increased. ठीक है? So सबसे पहले, if you are coming to prepare for UPSC, you have to promise to yourself that never ever you will repeat this stupid thing which I hear so many students say कि मुझसे रट्टाफिकेशन तो होता नहीं है और एसेंशियली मैं तो एनालिसिस करूंगा और समझ लूंगा और इस तरह से एग्जाम निकालूंगा. अगर ऐसा करने आए हो तो अपने पिताजी का पैसा अपने पास रखो, उसको बर्बाद मत करो और तैयारी छोड़ दो. This is the first thing that I have to say. If you cannot memorize, you are not eligible for UPSC examination. This is very clear. Those people who can memorize, they are the ones who do well in the examination. So, memorization is not very difficult thing. If you decide to memorize limited number of things. Memorization difficult कहाँ पर हो जाता है? If I have to memorize, if I think कि मैं ये भी book memorize कर लूँगा, ये भी पढ़ लूँगा, ये भी पढ़ लूँगा, ऐसा भी कर लूँगा, then it becomes difficult. If I have to study, suppose मेरे पास पॉलिटी के लिए मेरे पास limited अपना content है, and that is the only thing I have to memorize. Don't you think कि उसको 5-7 बार पढ़ोगे तो memorize हो जाएगा अपने आप? You don't have to memorize it word by word. That is not the requirement. You have to memorize the sequence of the keywords. And this, I think, anybody can do who has reached to this stage of preparation. So that is the second most important ability, if you ask me, which should be there. Third, in fact, is not written here. It is smart hard work. Smart and hard working. Hard working is different thing. Smart hard working is a different thing. Like for example, एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल देता हूं. You'll read some books, notes, ठीक है? We give a very good ready-made notes which are like handwritten notes. So earlier we used to dictate the class notes. What we found, because of this dictation, our time for explanation becomes less, because हमें एक limited hours में complete करना होता है. So now what we did, we got the notes typed. जो handwritten notes थे उनको type करवा लिया. अब ज्यादातर टाइम हम क्या करते हैं, एग्जाम्पल्स एक्सप्लेनेशंस उसमें बिताते हैं. नाउ अब वो नोट्स हैं, वही हैंड रिटन नोट्स स्टूडेंट्स बनाते हैं. वी आर गिविंग यू. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स कम टू मी दैट वी हैव टू, सर क्या मुझे इसके हैंड रिटन नोट्स बनाने हैं, बिकॉज मुझे याद नहीं हो रहा है, आई एम अनएबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो क्या मैं नोट्स बनाऊं इसके? I just tell them कि these are already our notes. Why you have to make them again? Notes is something which are your personal notes, are something पूरा का पूरा पॉलिटी 10 पेज में, पूरा का पूरा मॉडर्न हिस्ट्री 10 पेज में, उसे नोट्स बोलते हैं. Do you think that you will be able to reach this stage in your first reading? You have to read multiple times to reach that final stage. Now many students have this kind of एक उनके लिए बैरियर है कि जब तक वो लिखे नहीं तब तक उनको याद नहीं होगा. तो यहां पर क्या मैं स्मार्ट वर्क कर सकता हूं? बिल्कुल कर सकता हूं. There is always a small space, empty space on a page. देखा है, हर बुक में होता है, नोट्स में होता है. And if I want, suppose I am reading a point or a paragraph, can I write the keyword which I need to remember around that? उसके बगल में लिख लिया वो कीवर्ड, उस पैराग्राफ के या उस पॉइंट के बगल में ही लिख लिया. कर सकते हैं ऐसा? तो उससे क्या होगा, हमने लिख भी लिया, अपने आप को सेटिस्फाई भी कर लिया जो चीजें याद करनी है. प्लस क्योंकि मैं वहीं पर लिख रहा हूं जहां पर कंटेंट है, I am not afraid that I will forget this, I will forget that. This means I will just write the keyword. अगर मैं दूसरे कॉपी में लिखूंगा, if I am writing in another notebook, what will happen? I will be writing so much. In fact, it will be nothing but a copy of what the original notes were. मेरे पास many times students come and show कि सर देखिए मैंने कितने कम पेजेस में नोट्स बना दिया. What is actually that notes is, the content is same, only the font size has reduced, and by reducing the font size they have been able to compile that in less number of pages. But उससे फायदा क्या हुआ? When you are revising, it is not going to help you out. So this is something which is a smart work. You'll have to devise strategies. Same thing, take another example. You'll hear everybody talking about answer writing. ठीक है? अब अभी तक किसी ने इस यहाँ पर, have you ever tried answer writing from UPSC point of view? Yes, कभी कोशिश किया है? You'll see when you'll try कि एक आंसर लिखने में आधे घंटे 1 घंटे लग जाते हैं. When you are writing for the first times and in the initial stages, एक आंसर लिखने में you'll find so much of time will be gone. ठीक है? अब तुम सोचो कि अगर तुमने प्लान बनाया कि मैं दिन भर में 2-3, कम से कम 3 आंसर लिखूंगा, कितने घंटे गए? 3 घंटे तो तुम्हारे आंसर लिखने में ही चले गए. ठीक है? Can I say कि answer writing can also be in a way made more smart? Because answer writing क्या है? Suppose if I make frameworks in my mind, suppose if I am writing one answer and I think that what is the thing that I will write for introduction? I write some keywords here. Then what will be the main body? And this will be the structure. This point will come first, this point will come second, this will be the third paragraph. Like this, if I make a structure, there should be criticism. Whether I am thinking about the criticism or not, which point should be there in the criticism, and then finally what will be my conclusion. ये सारा think करने में, and even if I am suppose jotting down on paper, just doing frameworking, कितने मिनट लगेंगे? ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा स्टार्टिंग में 4 से 5 मिनट, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं लगने वाला. Which you will reduce it to 1 to 2 minutes. Before the examination, it should become less than 1 minute. So if I do this brainstorming, if I do this frameworking, actually am I doing answer writing? Yes or no? I think I am doing answer writing. And if I adopt this strategy, suppose मैंने एक strategy adopt की कि मैं दिन में एक आंसर लिखूंगा और बाकी जो टाइम होगा आई विल जस्ट मेक फ्रेमवर्क्स. सो सपोज मैंने एक घंटे अपने आप को आंसर राइटिंग के लिए दिए. I am taking 15-20 minutes to write one answer, and rest still I have 40 minutes. Can I say even if I am taking 5 minutes, at least 8 or answer will I be able to practice? Obviously yes. अब मुझे बताओ कि तुम लोग जो यहाँ पर प्रिपरेशन करने आए हो, are you people so much belonging to that stupid category that if you have already prepared the frameworks of the answers, examination में वो question repeat होता है and you won't be able to write in the examination? Tell me, इतना लेवल तो होता है यार किसी का भी. अगर ये लेवल नहीं होता तो सोचा भी नहीं होता तुमने प्रिपरेशन के बारे में. So this is basically what? This is smart work. So everywhere, because in this, when you are preparing, it is a long process. एक साल का टाइम बहुत लंबा होता है. You'll face with many difficulties and you'll have to streamline many of the things. You'll have to do the smart work. If I see, for example, that there is a paper and we'll later see that paper में 3 तरह के क्वेश्चन होते हैं. One is the direct questions, one is the tricky questions, and third, if you talk about the exceptional questions, these are 40 to 50%. These are also 40 to 50%, and these can be 0 to 20%. Their ratio determines the paper is easy or tough. ये जो क्वेश्चंस होते हैं ये टीचरों की भी औकात के बाहर होते हैं. They also have to look into content to find the correct answer for them. But what will happen? Tell me, isn't it our personality that we fear most those things which we haven't seen? Yes or no? So when the students see the paper, उनके सबसे पहले नजर कहां पे जाती है? इधर. They forget कि ये वाले पढ़े थे लेकिन इस पोजीशन में नहीं है कि they can score 60% marks, 50% marks in them. They are not in this position. They will forget this. What? These exceptional questions. ये तो मुझे इसके बारे में सुना भी नहीं है. And their preparation becomes what? UPSC एक खोज. They'll keep on searching this exceptional question. They'll keep on searching these exceptional questions. There are also coachings which will supply these to you. And your preparation will become a preparation of the exceptions. They are not affecting your selection. They are just psychological test, which is there in all the examination. You might all would have given some exams related with competitive examinations. कुछ तो दिया होगा अपने स्कूल टाइम में, कोई क्विज का एग्जाम दिया होगा या फिर इंजीनियरिंग के पेपर्स दिए होंगे और समथिंग. टेल मी, सब जगह पर ये सिखाया गया कि जिस क्वेश्चन में फंस जाओ उसको छोड़ के आगे बढ़ जाओ? It is part and parcel of every paper, and it is there in UPSC also. But most of the students will do what? They will do hard work and they'll keep on preparing these, which are not to be prepared. They are to be left. It is the third most important aptitude, the trait which you require. And then all others you can put according to, it will depend upon number of things which you are choosing. For example, if you're taking geography, one aptitude skill you should have is, you should have a kind of ability to locate things. You should understand maps, locations. You should have some kind of interest in diagrams. If you're taking other subjects, talking about other subjects, again, different type of aptitudes would be required for them. Okay, but these are some of the general aptitudes which I think are very, very important. Now, number of people will also talk about IQ, etc., etc. I don't think this work in UPSC. I told you I was very talented, but because I wasn't disciplined, I didn't get into the services. Others who were less talented than me, who had lesser IQ than me, they were very hardworking, they were very disciplined, and they ultimately got selected. So you have to keep this sequence which we have made here. All these three are the primary traits you have to develop. और as I told you, सबसे ज़्यादा मुझे दुख होता है when I see students talking bad about memorization. You have to memorize. There is no alternative here.